Shall I admit everyone?
Let's do it. Hi, everyone. We are going to wait just a moment, let a few more people trickle in. I think we have a nice big group of participants today, and I'm excited to talk to you about the new grant opportunity. So we'll start in just a couple of minutes. All right. I feel like we have a lot to get through and good amount of time, but we do want to leave some time for questions at the end. So um, I think we should just jump on in. Hello, everybody. My name is Kimie Weoka. I manage the Affordable Rental Housing Division's Capacity Building Grant Program. I am joined today by a number of colleagues and subject matter experts from within the Affordable Rental Housing Division. And if possible, can you come on camera and really quickly, I'm going to just call out names if you could introduce yourself and let everybody know what area you work in, and then we'll move on to the next bit. Great. Kim, why don't you go first?
Hello, my name is Kim Travis. I'm the engagement coordinator for the Affordable Rental Housing Division.
Great. Ashley, why don't you go next?
Hi, I'm Ashley Mappa. I am a operations and policy analyst for ARH.
Aurelie.
Hello, everyone. My name is Arely Diaz, and I am a technical advisor in the Affordable Rental Housing Division.
Great, thank you. Megan.
Hi, everyone. My name is Megan Ellertson. I'm the Moderate Income Revolving Loan Program Manager.
Great. Lindy.
Hi, Lindy Romero, she, her pronouns. I am the Merle Program Assistant in the ARH division as well.
Great, thank you. And Micah.
Hi, everyone. I'm Micah Talbot. I'm the admin specialist supporting capacity building.
Great, thank you. It's always nice to have faces to go with names. Okay, well, let's just dive in. Next slide, please. We are here to talk about the ORCA Capacity Building Grant opportunity. That resource is going to open for applications tomorrow. Few things we're going to cover today. We will be going through a little bit of history. We'll review some of the eligibility and standards. And then we also have a few polls and pauses built in so that we can address questions that come in through the Q&A function. At the top of your screen, you'll see a couple little kind of speech bubbles that say Q&A underneath. We're asking that during the webinar, during the main body of the webinar, you use the Q&A function to submit your questions, and then we will address questions at the pause, and then again at the end of the presentation. Let's see, other things. The polls are just for fun, no pressure. They're not mandatory, and I know that they can be a little glitchy from time to time, so if you can't, if you have any trouble using that poll function, don't Don't worry about it at all. They're just for us to make things a little bit more engaging and also to get a sense of who's here today. Let's see. And then with that, I think we can jump to the next slide, please. Oh, it's our first poll. Okay. We are going to put a little question up here. And I think you should see it. We're asking, are you a nonprofit housing owner operator, property manager, asset manager, public housing authority, local government? You can click one of those buttons and then hit submit, and we should get kind of an instant output on the poll. Oh, very cool. Lots of nonprofit owner operators here, and it's good to see some housing authorities. Ooh, we did get some local government. Yay, I'm glad. And then some service providers and others mysterious. I'm looking forward to connecting with you at the end. Okay, we have one more quick poll here. And this one is, has your organization ever received GHAP capacity building resources in the past, if you've received a grant in the past? We're not asking if you currently have a grant right now, or we're just trying to get a sense of like how widespread has the impact of these investments been just within this group that's here on the call today. These grants have been around for a while, so it's pretty neat to talk to people who say, oh, we had one of the first grants back in, 2013, 2012. Let's see. Oh, interesting split. Okay. So neat to see the bar move real time. Very cool. Okay. Well, I am looking forward to at least, 13 to 18 more of you out of this offering. So this is exciting. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about capacity building in the program. The way that the Affordable Rental Housing Division defines capacity building is really meant to think more holistically about the ecosystem we work within and the entire continuum that you all operate within around the development and long-term operations of affordable rental housing. So the definition really is meant to encompass all of that. It's the activities and resources that support the development and growth of all the areas of that ecosystem and effectively advance our shared goals related to affordable rental housing. Next slide, please. The capacity building program has been around for about 14 years. Well, 15 years, but in practice for 14. We have provided more than 100 grants and training opportunities since then, and even just in the last few years have awarded more than $4 million in capacity building resources across Oregon. Some of the investments that you may know about, the Housing Oregon Industry Conference, we provide some sizable funding support for that conference, as well as the regional housing summits that Housing Oregon has offered over the last few years. And then we also use capacity building funds to provide the Permanent Supportive Housing Institute, the Rural Preservation Academy was offered a few years ago, and past asset management training programs in partnership with HDC. We also use this resource to address emergencies. So during the COVID shutdown, we stood up very quickly an emergency grant opportunity so that applicants could receive funding to quickly pivot to a remote work environment. So that was mostly for hardware and software to help support them in that. Next slide, please. The objectives of this overall resource and the grant we're going to talk about today is one kind of one flavor from the larger bucket of capacity building resources from the GHAP account. But the overall objectives for this resource are truly to work to increase housing production and preservation and sustainability of the housing that we do have throughout Oregon, and to address unmet needs. I think we can go to the next slide. All right. I have to remember to click my own slides forward too to stay with the slides. Okay. So the way that we determine where and how these investments will be made and how they will be implemented is through the capacity building strategy and underneath a framework. That framework gets revised every few years, and currently we're working underneath a framework that utilizes this strategy, which is to increase training, networking, and skill development opportunities, to also prioritize strengthening capacity of the entities that are eligible to receive capacity building funds, and to also be thinking about this larger ecosystem and to strengthen capacity of regions in addition to organizations toward development, management, and preservation of affordable rental housing. Next slide. Great. Let's talk about the grant offering that's opening tomorrow. The ORCA Capacity Building Grant. We just are finishing out issuing the final grant agreements from last year's offering of this grant, and we are so lucky to have additional funds reserved for the next iteration. And so we have 2 million more that have been reserved for the ORCA Capacity Building grants in the 2025-27 biennium. Just catch up here really quickly. Give me one sec. Sorry. The offering, the 2 million also has within it, we have folded in what was previously going to be a separate initiative to focus investment on regional and innovative projects, and that is now functioning as a set aside within the ORCA Capacity Building Grant. So we have established 500,000 that will really highlight on focusing that investment on capacity strengthening projects that are seeking to solve problems at a regional level or meet need at a regional level or try something out that's new and innovative and isn't already being commonly used. Another really exciting piece of this new offering is that we are opening the capacity building grant to local governments who have a MURL, moderate income revolving loan program, right? Excuse me, I can't find the talking point. Apologize. Local governments that are working towards and implementing a moderate income revolving loan program and have a model ordinance, originating ordinance or resolution in place. So that would be at the city or county level, most likely. We can talk about that a little bit more in a minute. The application opens tomorrow, and the application, like last time, will be rolling and remain open until all of the funds have been allocated. We will also offer a little bit of a wait list as well if we are slightly oversubscribed. The grant itself is intended to strengthen for capacity strengthening projects to increase ARH production, preservation, and sustainability. Applicants can request up to $150,000 to be utilized over a 2-year work period. They are not intended to be used in a single year, so we ask that you determine how you want to spend that over the 2 years, and it can be uneven, but we do ask that you stretch it out over a 2-year work period. And then 2 progress reports are required per year. So some of the activities that are allowable and eligible within the ORCA Capacity Building grant, you can use this funding to add or expand housing staff, at least for the first couple of years. This is not an ongoing resource, and there's no guarantee that you would get a subsequent capacity building grant to continue a staff position, but you absolutely can use the funding to do an initial hire and get a staff person through the first couple of years, or a limited duration sort of position. Absolutely. Strengthening your internal systems, anything from bringing on a consultant to help build out your bookkeeping, take your bookkeeping and financial management systems to the next level. Software, hardware, anything to support the more support your organization in working more effectively and efficiently in your work to build and operate affordable rental housing. Other things, asset management related evaluations, staff and regional partner training, whether you're bringing in training for your own staff or you're looking to deliver a training to share skill sets or knowledge that you have acquired, and now you're looking to share that with others and deepen the bench or throughout, that is absolutely an allowable use. Technical assistance and consultants related to soft costs, some pre-development soft costs, and then networking and convening opportunities, and of course with our set aside, piloting a regional or innovative solution to a capacity building need or problem. For innovative and regional solutions, we have provided also a little bit of an evaluation rubric that helps with what we're looking for in application responses and project proposals. Some of the things you can, sorry, go back. Some of the things that that are not allowed or ineligible activities would be things like purchasing land, hard construction costs, paying for certain direct services for residents, but there are absolutely internal capacity strengthening activities that could support you in freeing up other resources to pay for those other things, if that's what you need help with. All right. All right. So there are only 4 eligible entity types that can receive the capacity building resources to do capacity strengthening internal work or external work. For this offering, we have included all 4, which is exciting. And so we are seeking in this round to strengthen and provide resources to established nonprofit organizations. So that those are nonprofit organizations who have been operating for 2 or more years, public housing authorities, tribal nations, and sometimes you might see in some of our materials Native nations, that is referring to tribal nations. So sometimes you'll see both the terminology being used, and tribally designated housing entities. And then local governments that have passed an originating ordinance or resolution for the MERL program. In regards to tribal nation applicants, there will be a pathway for tribal nations to provide an intent to apply, as we know that the process for approving and getting permission and approval to apply for a grant and submit a grant application can sometimes take a few more steps, take a few extra weeks or months. We wanted to make sure that there's a pathway there for our tribal nation applicants to access the resources within their existing processes and systems for the tribe. Next slide. Oh, first pause. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to get a little help from one of my teammates here with the Q&A.
Yeah, we only had one question posted about the slide deck being made available, and we are no longer posting slide decks on our website, but the recording will be available on our website in the next few days when we're able to post that. Yeah,
Great.
and I don't see any other questions in the chat for now, and we will be opening up for live questions and answers a little bit later on.
And all of this information will also be included in the materials that will be posted online or found within your Procorum Work Center if you choose to submit an applicant information and eligibility form.
And we did have a question that just came in. If we have an open ORCA grant, can we still apply?
So for this round, we are asking that organizations with an open ORCA grant, so one that has not expired, or yes, one that has not expired yet, to not apply. You will not be eligible for this round, but in the future, when that grant agreement expires, you will be eligible for future offerings of the ORCA Capacity Building Grant.
And another question, could this funding be used for a staff position that has already been hired?
Yes, yes. We would just have some conversations about what the benefit is to your organization in utilizing these resources to help augment that position or supplement that temporarily. But it's our goal really is to try and help you be successful, and also take your lead, let you take the lead in letting us know what you need to do in order to be successful and move closer to our shared goals around affordable rental housing.
Can organizations have multiple concurrent GHAP capacity building awards? Say if one is a regular CB grant and one is for a regional innovative project.
So right now for this specific offering, if you are holding an active grant from the capacity building resource, the GHAP resource, which these all kind of come from the same bucket, you will not be eligible to apply for the current resource offering for this 2025 offering that's being made available.
Another question, is there anything organizations that have both rental and shelter services should know? I.e., we share technology staff between both rental and shelter. Will there be requirements to separate funds, etc.?
No. If you are, we could definitely talk through this. I think it's I want to say, without knowing the specifics of your situation, I can't say across the board yes or no either way, but it would not prevent you from applying and seeing if there's something that we can do to ensure that the primary investment is being made in infrastructure that supports your affordable rental housing work. And for example, things like the example I gave previously, bookkeeping, improving your financial systems benefits every aspect of the organization. So, there's an ancillary benefit or, unintended consequence benefit to the rest of the organization that's absolutely acceptable. We would just be working through ensuring that the focus and intended purpose is to first serve your affordable rental housing development and operations goals.
We have a few more that have been posted, and then we'll carry on with the presentation and open up again later on. But another question is, what do you advise if the nonprofit is not at 2 years of service yet, but will be within 3 months of the application opening date?
That's a tough one. Of course, you have the option to wait and apply when you get closer to your 2-year. You also can partner if there is a more established organization that you can partner with. You can definitely partner with another organization on an application. So I would recommend that you reach out and we can, talk about what some options might be, but there's no reason that you can't find a champion who might be able to help you in applying for this sooner and might be a great partner in some of the work anyway. So.
And then another question that you may be answering in upcoming slides, but I'm going to say it anyway, and then you can tell me if it's in content that we're going to be seeing here shortly. But can you expand upon eligibility for the 500,000 set aside? The manual talks about innovative solutions and regional outcomes. Can you explain what these terms mean and how applicants would be eligible for these categories?
Yeah, so any of the eligible entities are eligible to apply for an regional or innovation project grant. In a couple of slides, but also it's within some of the materials that have already been posted. we do provide a bit of a rubric for what we're looking for in a response to those questions or in a proposal. But primarily, we, for regional, we are asking you to convey to us how the outcomes and the impact of the capacity building project that you intend to take on will have a impact beyond your immediate locale and your and won't be contained to your organization or just your immediate kind of service community. So we're really looking for you to tell us how this you think the impact of this capacity strengthening project will benefit benefit a larger region. And ideally, you're working together with other neighboring, you have partnerships with other stakeholders that expand the footprint and the impact of the project you're planning on taking on. For innovation, we're really focusing and hoping to see projects that are trying a creative solution to a capacity need or problem. So that could be anything from, piloting, we had a previous grantee pilot sharing a single asset manager between two organizations, and both of them use their capacity building grant resources to help fund this larger project. So they kind of like brought their resources together towards this one innovative solution. So we're, those are the sorts of that's the sort of creativity that we would like to help cultivate and nurture.
All right, we'll take one more question and then we will again open up for questions later on after we're finished with the presentation. But there's a question about, do you anticipate any federal funding cuts to possibly impact the funding available for this grant offering?
This resource is state other funds, so we do not anticipate a direct impact to the resources being offered in this grant, in this round of the capacity building grant.
All right, and I'm going to put a link in response to this question where we have a landing page that talks about federal funding impacts. So I recommend I'll put it in this answer here, and you can check back as news happens. That page will be updated as federal changes occur. So thank you all for great questions, and we will again open up soon for another round of Q&A.
Great. All right, let's talk a little bit about some of the application standards that we will be looking for in selecting grants for funding. Your organization should not have a current active capacity building resourced grant. So that kind of aligns with one of the questions we had in the Q&A. We are also asking that you have submitted, completed and submitted a DEI agreement. And that is pretty standard for a lot of the resources within the Affordable Rental Housing Division, but we do recognize that the DEI agreement requirement in certain circumstances can be a barrier And so we haven't been able to update some of the external facing materials just yet, but that will be done before the grant opens tomorrow. But we have created, OHCS does have the authority and ability to provide a waiver or to waive that standard as a requirement upon request and on a case-by-case basis. So within the application, you'll see a pathway if that is something that your entity or organization needs to request. Otherwise, you will receive a link to the online form for the DEI agreement, and it's a really fantastic thought exercise and also helps create some framework for thinking through for your organization what it looks like to really center diversity, equity, and inclusion in your organization's work. Another standard is that you are required to have goals related to growing or preserving affordable rental housing in your mission, bylaws, or a board approved plan or project. And for the purposes of this grant, the word board in these standards also applies to the council, commission, or governing body comprised of elected officials that serves as the primary decision-making authority for a city or a county. And then activities funded by the grant will be related to the development of new affordable rental housing units or preservation of existing units. Next slide, please. So evaluation components. Hold on just one sec. Catch up. Okay. Pardon me. It's been quite a morning. So these are some of the component areas that, not some, these are the component areas, excuse me, that your application responses will be evaluated against. What we have provided here are a great guide for assessing your own response to these questions. These questions or these component areas align with questions in the grant application. And again, our goal with this program, with the capacity building program, is to support your success in applying for and receiving these funds and understanding what a strong response to these questions in a grant application looks like. And so this application process is one in which we are very much engaged and in contact with you throughout the application process. So if we need greater clarity in a particular area or response to certain questions, there are opportunities for us to have those conversations so that we have a really strong understanding of what you're trying to do and what you know that you need to do to strengthen your organization or your region's capacity to develop and operate ARH. Next slide, please. In addition, for applicants who are seeking funds specifically for innovative projects or for regional focused projects, we ask that you answer a few additional questions with the focus on informing us of how your proposed activities are going to be innovative and be something that, you know, would result in a model that might be replicated or others might be able to try out. And then for regional outcomes, we're really looking for you to share with us specific examples of how your grant is going to bring together regional stakeholders and how the outcomes are going to have a regional or collective kind of impact. Next slide, please. Oh, yay, we have another poll. Okay, this one is giving us a sense of which regions we have on the call right now. I was looking up some stats earlier and was very excited to see that in the last ORCA Capacity Building grant offering, Kim, you see that? Yeah, okay. In the last offering, we more than, well, 60% of the recipients of the last ORCA Capacity Building grant were rural or rural serving organizations, developers and sponsors. And so it's great to see that resources are being spread across the state and into some of the rural areas of Oregon as well. All right. What was the outcome? I didn't see the Kim, did you see the results? I didn't see the results.
I'm sorry, are they sharing now?
No,
No,
I see you.
Apologize. The results of this poll are we have, let's see, 17%. Oh, the numbers are shifting. We've got a split Southern Oregon, Coastal Oregon, statewide. Let me try to share it. I apologize for not being able to share this one. Okay. Is it sharing now?
Maybe it's just me
results.
that it's not sharing for. Is it sharing for others?
No, but I think we can look at the results through the chat. So it looks like we have 52% coming from metro area, 20% from Southern Oregon, 14 from coastal, and 14 from statewide as well. But no Central Oregon or Eastern Oregon folks today.
Oh, all right. We'll have to make sure they get the recording of the webinar. All right. Thank you very much for humoring us with the polls. It's great for us. It's also very practical for us to really get a sense of, okay, we need to do a little more targeted outreach in certain areas. Okay, let's talk a little bit. This next section will be fairly quick. Let's talk really briefly about how to access the application. You get to the capacity building application through the ORCA intake form. It's a real quick kind of hop off. You first go into the ORCA intake form, and in the very first set of radio buttons, you'll see a button for capacity building, and that will lead you to the next piece of the application. which is an applicant information and eligibility brief questionnaire. Next slide. So it starts with the ORCA capacity building application, applicant information, which is a smart sheet online form. And then once you submit that, you'll receive an invitation to the online file sharing platform that we use called Procorum. Procorum assigns folders called work centers. So you will be assigned a Procorum work center. And then once you get into your Procorum work center, you'll see a bunch of folders and all the things you need to submit a complete application can be found inside those folders. Next slide. So this is just a quick view of what that looks like. The grant application, a blank application, will be in there. Budget tool that you'll need to complete and submit will be in there. Checklist that helps just kind of walk you through step by step. Download this, fill it out, put it back into this folder. And then we also have a grantee handbook that's just a nice overview of this is what it looks like to request, request a reimbursement or all the various kind of questions that we thought you might have as a future grantee or current grantee. All those things, once completed, get re-uploaded, renamed and re-uploaded to this Procorum Work Center. And then once you click off the task that you've finished all of your phase 1 items on the checklist, then OHCS staff will review your complete grant application and notify you for 2 reasons, actually. We will set up a follow-up one-on-one conversation with every single applicant, and then we also will notify you once evaluation and review of your complete application has been done. Next slide, please. Other key dates and timeline info. Just a reminder, the application opens tomorrow. It will be open until the funds are fully allocated, and then it will close. We do have the opportunity and authority to run a little bit of a wait list for a little bit of oversubscription, so we will just kind of play it by ear. This resource is a resource that replenishes itself regularly from the county document recording fees. And so our plan is to close the window and then reopen it occasionally when resources accrue again within the account. So the applications will be reviewed for completeness, and we will reach out within 14 days to let you know if something's missing, if there's any immediate questions or needs. And then we will be looking at threshold requirements and utilizing that evaluation criteria that was shared within this presentation, but it is also in the grant instruction guide that has been posted online. And then awardees will be notified by email. I put this in here because it's hands down the piece of the grant making process that takes the longest and sometimes holds people up for many, many months. but there will be layers of insurance required for this grant that you may not have seen before with your development insurance requirements. So we have within the work centers provided a summary of that insurance coverage. And so that's something that you can download immediately and send to your insurer and find out, are any of these layers going to be more challenging to get than others, or can you start the process of just looking into what it would look like to get these additional layers. That way it doesn't hold you up later when we are waiting to sign the grant on that certificate of insurance. A little bit about payment. State grants typically operate on a reimbursement model. For capacity building grants, we do have special authority to offer partial advance, and we can talk more about that as your own grant process unfolds. And then direct deposit is preferred, so we would be setting you up with ACH direct deposit. Checks are possible, but they take a lot longer. And then as standard with any grant, you will be required to provide expense documentation to support your invoicing. And you will receive a lot more detailed information about that in our kickoff meeting when it looks like we're moving forward to drafting a grant agreement. So next steps, and I'm so excited I get to introduce Aurelie, our technical advisor, here in a sec. So submit your questions, any questions you have after beyond this webinar, please submit those through the ORCA question portal. We can put a link in the chat here. Reach out to your technical advisor. Many of your organizations already have a technical advisor assigned to you. They are subject matter experts to some degree in the capacity building resource, but if they have any questions, they can pull me in. And they are even available to help you brainstorm, strategic points for capacity strengthening within your organization. Complete and submit your application, and give a heads up to your legal and insurance providers so that once we get to drafting and signing the grant agreement, that everybody's ready to do their piece. Great. I am going to mute myself and hand it over to Aurelie to introduce herself and tell you a little bit about the technical advisors.
Hello, everyone, and thank you, Kimye, for the opportunity to just quickly go over who the technical advisor team is and how we can help as partners navigate the capacity building application process, or really any program application process for that matter. So Kimye went over who we are just a little bit, but I wanted to say that the technical advisor team, we're a team of 6, and you'll get to see their lovely faces at the end of the webinar. But you can think of us as your OHCS GPS. Basically, we're guiding you through the twists and the turns of the ORCA system. And we're not just here to answer your questions, but we can help you with strategizing early concepts, troubleshooting problems, connecting you with the right people in the agency, and really just walk with you as you're putting together your project. And most importantly, our goal is to build these relationships with our partners. So we would love the opportunity to work with you. Maybe we are already working with some of those who are on the call today. But if you have any questions at all, the email is listed on the screen. So feel free to reach out to us and we will do our best to answer your questions. So thank you.
And we do have quite a few questions in the questions and answer. So we are unlikely to get to all of them today. Kimye, do you want to tell folks how will be responding after this meeting is over?
Yes, we will be putting together a FAQ for this offering, and then that will be posted on the capacity building webpage. And then, well, actually, let me just double check this because we're going through the ORCA questions. I'm wondering, Kim, do you know? We will make sure that you know where to find the responses to these questions, whether they'll be on somewhere on the ORCA landing page or on the capacity building landing page. We will make sure that you don't have to click too many times to find them. Sorry.
Yeah, that
But
sounds good.
we can address a couple right now, or just come open things up so that we can address live questions for anybody who wants to come off.
Yeah, and we do have a question, just a clarification. I'm not sure if I understood the answer to the earlier question about eligibility. The slide said it is based on not currently having capacity building funds, but I think I heard you say that applicants should not have any active grant in the ORCA. With the intent being to support development, sustainability, and preservation, wouldn't capacity building related to current projects under construction be eligible? Just wanting to be sure.
Yeah, sorry about that if that was confusing. The requirement is that you do not have a current grant from the capacity building resource. So the reason we say that is we have multi-year grants that we offer through this resource. And so we have a few different other offerings from the past that are still active. Maybe they have another year left on them. So if you're one of the grantees who has an active home ARP capacity building grant that came from this resource, or an ORCA capacity building grant from the first round, last year's round, those grant offerings have sometimes one or more years left on them. And so we're asking that if you have a capacity building grant already from one of the other offerings under this resource, that you abstain from applying this round.
Thanks so much. That's super helpful. Thanks.
And I'll just keep running through questions. What if our nonprofit has been running for over 2 years, but our low-income affordable housing project is not actively running right now? It is in the beginning stages of planning. Can we still apply?
Yes. So one of the things that we have done in this round is eliminate the requirement that you be a developer or a sponsor with a project currently in the pipeline. So that means that this resource is available to established nonprofit organizations that have project related to growing or sustaining affordable rental housing in their bylaws or by board decision, but you do not necessarily have to have an active project in the pipeline for this round.
All right. Then a question, what is considered ARH? If we operate transitional living programs and our clients pay program fees, is this considered ARH? Additionally, do they have to pay rent or program fees to be considered an ARH?
That's a really good question, and I want to be able to give you a very specific and clear definition. The way that we have defined affordable rental housing within this division does not include transitional housing or other housing that is affordable. This is specifically publicly supported, permanent, affordable rental housing development and operations. And I know that that may still leave a little bit of area kind of unclear, but my understanding has been that transitional housing does not fall within the agency's definition of affordable rental housing within this division. So I am happy to hear more about what you're doing and try and dig a little deeper internally around that delineation, but that's my understanding at this point.
All right, a couple more questions. Do ARH properties need to be income restricted? We keep our rent roll at 80% AMI and are working towards it becoming income restricted, but are not there yet.
I think it kind of ties to the definition of affordable rental housing. I would love to be very thoughtful in my response to this. And so if it's okay with you, I will save this one for the written response so that I can be as clear as possible.
Great. Well, we are at 3:01. We have some unanswered questions. I'm not sure if we want to stick around and answer them or if you want to either address the questions in FAQ or on the website.
Yeah, I think probably just to be respectful of everybody's time, I will try and get those questions answered offline and posted as quickly as possible so that people can use that information to inform their application starting tomorrow. Great. Thank you. Thank you very, very much for taking the time to join us for this webinar and for engaging in the polls and asking so many great questions in the Q&A. We will be working to get as much information posted before tomorrow as possible, and feel free to ask additional questions through the ORCA question portal. Yeah, I look forward to seeing your applications and meeting you. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, everyone.